hear me, but you know, yo guys, what it is, it's your boy, King of Games 80. Welcome back to King's Nation. Here we are, owning girl, but we ain't playing today, no, we got a review. And that is terraformars. Alright guys, so again, you know how we do reviews. When we're doing reviews, we're not really playing, you know? So we're just gonna chill out on owning girl, not doing anything. I'm sorry, it's a little disappointing. I normally do this kind of thing on Xenoverse 2, but I don't got it with me right now. So we're gonna look at all the characters now. I wanna do a little quite spoiler. Still, you know, God's side. Listen guys, listen. Park change your outfit to get character, delete character, I mean return, I mean start single player mode, you know. You know guys, it's just how things are, you know. I drew a card and it's 10. Skippo. Interesting. Alright guys, so what would we be doing here? Alright, is a review for terraformars already set up? Oh, hello kitty cat. First day login. Nice. Just get cute. We're gonna go back here. Alright, now we're gonna go to systems because we can turn down this music settings. There it is. Sound. Oh, isn't it? No, yeah. Set. That works. Alright. Alright, let's get somewhere where we can just chill out real quick before I can do this review. I'm going here. Is this actually tea time? What? Stop it. Get to the table, woman. Slowly. No. Okay, you know what? Alright, there we go. Look. Alright, guys. So this is what we're going to do for the terraforming review. It's interesting. And there's be a little spoilers because honestly, I feel like it was almost like Attack on Titans, to be honest. And the reason why I say it is because Terraformer was pretty much about there was a virus that broke out on Earth, and it's not really a well-known virus yet, but it has a 100% death effect. So you get it, you die because there's no cure. So what do we have to do? We have to go to Mars. But what's on Mars waiting for us? Cockroaches. Not just any cockroaches, you know. Got this 6 foot, maybe 8 foot, giant, 2-armed, 2-legged, beady-eyed looking cockroaches, mother. And they don't talk, they don't even click, but they make these weird sounds, so they're communicating in some way for them. I feel like terraformars was rushed, or I don't know, I like the animation, but there were some parts where it grabbed me, where I was interested in, and then there was others that was just, I don't know. See, I was expecting like they'll set up a base on Mars, and the soldiers who have experimental powers based on the animal kingdom and insect kingdom as well, we're gonna underestimate this cockroach infestation on Mars. And that's where the terror was truly gonna show up. Cause it's labeled horror as well. So, you know, it's supposed to be scary. And I've seen a video on these things where like they're one of the top 10 scariest creatures in anime. And simply, I wasn't terrified of them. It just wasn't a thing for me, guys. It's only 12 or 13 episodes, and there's so much more that needs to be discussed. There's so much more things that need to be told to us as an audience when it comes to watching this anime. There's a spy. We gotta figure out who the spy was. So either I didn't get to watch the entire series in its integrity. Like there's another season that's on its way that I just don't know about, or whatever the issue is. But from the 13 episodes I saw, it was a hot mess. Like we didn't know anything about the characters. So in the middle of the fight, they would do an introduction of who these characters were. That took away from the fight. You know? And you had a lot of nameless anime characters, you know, or just nameless characters who you didn't know, and they died, and I didn't care. And was the show predictable? No. Was it kind of interesting at first? A little bit. So like I said, I thought, get on Mars, get on the base, make a base, and underestimate the enemy. And that's what would be the horror, that they're trying to regroup, try to reconnect, you know, something, you know. But that wasn't the case. Here were the moments that grabbed me. So this is going to be a little bit of, there's going to be some spoilers. One, before they even got on the planet, the cockroaches showed up on their ship. It was crazy. It wasn't terrifying, but it was crazy. Because one of these guys were trying to peek at this girl in the shower. And then they went to go peek, you know. She was already looking at them. And he was like, sorry, I was just making sure you were okay. You were in there for a very, very long time, you know. Making sure, you know, you were okay. Understandable, right? And that's what most anime tropes are. You end up accidentally looking at a naked female body. They get their butts whooped. They get slapped across the planet. Something, you know. But that wasn't the case. The door opened. Or blew up, I guess you could say. With the head coming through the thing. And boom. Cockroach man standing up with the head. Holding her head. It was crazy. So boom. We're already in trouble, guys. Alright. So I was like, all right, okay, I see you guys. You grabbed me. You caught my attention. And these things are strong. They're brutal, okay? They're not too intelligent, but they're brutal, you know? Their strength is crazy. They're not as strong as the Incredible Hulk, I would say, but they're on just a little bit under par with that, you know? They have that Hulk strength, but none of his durability. So it was crazy, you know, guys. And there was only one, but then there was two, then there were six. And then someone made a connection saying, that's weird, there's 6 officers who are supposed to be elite of the elite, and there's 6 of them on board, and there's 6 cockroaches. Coincidence? I think not. Which means someone planted these suckers in here. And if you guys don't understand, if you guys know Bleach, I would say the officers are like captains of the 13 Court Guard for Bleach, you know? And each officer has their own underling, just like how the 13 Court Guards are in Bleach. So look at that for, I guess, power scaling or whatever. So they end up getting to Mars. The only way they can use their powers is through these serums. And the cockroaches were already in the room that hold the serum. And we're destroying them, you know. So it looks like there's no hope to fighting these things, since the only characters that we have ability of fighting them can't even use their powers. And that's another thing, guys. Apparently, the way you get your powers is going through this procedure, and not everyone's gonna make it through this procedure. A lot of people die. And when they stated that, I guess this wasn't their first road trip to Mars to fight these things or whatever, because there was another class. And when the first ship, I guess, showed up, they could only use insects for the power base for the humans. So I was like, okay. And then they did this big reveal when they get caught up after they get done with the flashback, saying that that's no longer a problem. We can do other all the animals on planet Earth. And this girl grew wings. She about to fly into the sky, and her leg immediately got caught by one of the cockroaches, and that cockroach was like, nah, You ain't taking off the sky today, and slammed her, you know? So I was like, oh shit, you know, but I guess it doesn't mean shit. You know, they're fast and they're strong, and throughout the anime, they're constantly on these cockroaches saying like, hey, you know, the cockroaches is the fastest jumping power or the fastest start time and running speed on the entire animal kingdom, you know, and so I'm like, okay, but there's only one that's even more versatile, and that would be this spider or something like that, the jumping spider, some type of spider, I don't know. So the only thing cool about this little segment, every time they did this, was they taught you about certain unique creatures, certain unique insects, and certain animals. But the problem was, that's what it was. They were mostly insect-based powers, even though they stated they can use other animals. So I'm thinking like, yo, where's a gorilla at? You know, because gorilla's big and strong, you know, at those muscles, you know, can punch through a cockroach shell, no problem. But they didn't use a gorilla. They didn't have an elephant. They had a shark, and he got fucked up. And it seems like the only people that were actually doing any good against these cockroach monster humanoid things were insect-based powers, except for a boxer who got that it's a crab or a shrimp. I can't remember shrimp that can see all the color spectrums and can punch so hard that it literally heats up the water around its punch, frying up its target. And he went against a beetle. So it turns out not only that the cockroaches have their own unique abilities, but apparently they're also been infused with insect traits, such as a stag beetle, or what was another one? There's an insect buck can shoot like literally hot fire. It's like hotter than the temperature of the sun, I think, or hotter than it's like hot as lava. It's an instant death to its prey when this gets used, and can melt the skin off bone if humans ever got contact with this liquid produced by this insect. So it's apparently clear that someone behind the scenes are upgrading these cockroaches. They're already as strong as it is, but they're also teaching them things. So now they're also smart. So throughout this entire anime, you're learning about different little insects, and you're learning about some of the characters, little flashbacks, and in the fights, you know. And like, I don't see any horror aspect of it. To be honest, it gets taken away because they're already in this battle. The only thing I can think of that can be considered terrifying is they underestimated their opponents. That someone behind the scenes made them a little bit smarter. They have a food chain or a hierarchy where they actually listen to a certain cockroach, and then that cockroach has little other guys, and they're listening to them, and they just have these numbers that just keep on coming and coming and coming. It's just their sheer numbers overwhelming their opponent. They're everywhere. So it doesn't give you a chance to be like, oh, there they are, you know, oh, there they showed up again, like, you know, we're doomed, you know. There wasn't like, it was just, that's all it was, one massive battle, and it took, nothing went according to plan. The rescue takes 48 days to save them. Right, guys? So here's the premise. Here's another part of the premise that I didn't tell you guys about. They're stranded on Mars now. It's going to take 48 days to be rescued. Okay? On day one, this is just day one, they lost half the crew members. They're getting their butts kicked, and they have killed probably over 1,000 cockroaches by now. You know, and this entire 12-episode anime takes place in the premise of a time span of one day. Not even one day, because by the end of the show, it's nighttime. So what that means is they got 47 days left until rescue. And then at the end of the anime, it was stated that the rescue ship hasn't even launched yet. Or it wasn't even on its way. Which means it's going to take longer than just 48 days or 47 days or whatever I said. So I was thinking that when they gave a time limit on when they were going to be saved on Mars, I thought the entire series again where they'd be stuck on a base and the cockroaches are constantly trying to get in, and some of them manage to get in, and they're just fighting them off in a time span of 48 days, you know? Constantly losing members, trying to get supplies, got to go on little short missions, you know, things like that. That would have been horrifying because you can see them, they're slowly gaining ground. The cockroaches are slowly gaining the ground. They're somehow getting in the base here and there. They got to go on runs and little missions to scavenge food or whatever they can. Does not always succeed, leaving them starving, hungry, tired, you know, fatigued, running out of serums that can trigger their powers. And on the way, they discovered new things about them. Or something, you know, that would have been great. And then on the last 12th episode, had it state that the ship hasn't even left yet. Which means all their hard work to try and survive was for nothing. You know, that they had to hold out even longer, even though they're already barely holding on as it is. But no, it wasn't like that, and it just wasn't there. It wasn't at all. The whole 12 episodes or 13 episodes took a span of one day, not even a full night, really. You know, it was interesting to see what cockroaches had different abilities, but there was only a select few. Consider them almost like hollows. You know, you have thousands of hollows, and then you have the espada. And these espadas were some of the cockroaches, you know. Not everyone had the unique ability to blast air that would heat up or have like camouflaged capabilities, you know. And the cockroaches also can fly too, apparently. I didn't know cockroaches can fly. So that was something new. But it didn't grab me, really. It took away from this horrifying experience that this has been one day, only one day, and they're down to half crew members, and like they're down to their last bit of serum, you know, stress is high, you know, but the thing hasn't even left to save them yet. Plus there's a traitor, gotta figure out who. There was nothing. None of that. Oh, that's what it was. That was pretty much what it was. It was all cramped up, scribbled up, and normally in anime, they have their fight, or before the fight, you already know who these characters are. You already know what their background experience, how did they get to this point. You know all this. But they were in the middle, since this whole anime takes place during a massive battle, war zone pretty much, in my opinion. They didn't have enough episodes to be like, okay, these two guys are, you know, here's their business, this is what their deal was, this is how they came to be in this situation. And I couldn't care less about some of them. I really could not care less. Wasn't interesting in the slightest. The boxer dude was okay. The trio that had a trio. Those are misfit kids, and they ended up working for this rich family which had a daughter, and they kind of like got along, and that's how they end up here and all this junk reunited. I don't know what to tell you. Like, I couldn't comprehend. I comprehended it, but it was just rushed. It was just, I'm trying to get back to the fight, you know. I don't know if they're trying to create suspense to be like, oh no, this character's gonna die. Like, we just learned about, are they about to die? If an anime ever does that, I expect them to die. So it takes away from the tension. It was just, There's only one time they did this right. It was one time where it actually made me feel for the character. You know? One time only. And he's the only character I briefly remember from watching it. And literally, guys, I watched this whole anime 2 days ago. Okay? So his name is Adolf. Okay, his thing was he was experimented on. Okay, his powers were electric eels, when he could use lightning, which means he was like Killua. All right, he was like Loxus. Okay, he was a badass. He was dope. He was like a ninja. He even had shurikens and all that, and kunais, and using it to lightning and all this stuff. It was dope. You know, and as he's fighting and he's losing and he keeps getting back up, but he's still losing. And the only reason why he's losing is because of the numbers. Hang on, guys. Okay, I'm back. The only reason why he's losing is because of the numbers and the surprise factor that these cockroaches are having when they figured out how to do slingshot, throwing these rocks. You know, and using guns and all this, and having their guys be wiped out. It was crazy. You know, and he's remembering his backstory. You get to see his backstory where he was scarred. His whole face, or his, like, where his mouth is scarred. So he wears this thing, like a cone, kind of, so it hides that. And, you know, growing up, trying to find a girl, you know, it's going to be hard to find a girl that can look past that. But he finally found it, and he was happy. He was truly happy, everyone. He was happy. And I was like, yes, this dude found the love of his life. Love of his life cheated on him. They were married, cheated. She begged and pleaded. And me, guy was cheating on. I was like, nah, don't forgive her. Nah, hellfire. Burn her alive. You shock, you know. Hitler. I mean, not Hitler. Oh, my God. Adolf. Use Thunderbolt. Something, you know. And no, he forgave her, hugged, and all that. Even though I wouldn't. And he's remembering all this. And it's crazy because he didn't really feel the impact of his love of his life cheating on him. And living with it. On top of that, she got pregnant that wasn't even his kid. So he was kind of taking care of this kid who wasn't even his. He didn't find this out later until he got a checkup, or the kid got a checkup, because they wanted to know if his powers, if the kid inherited his lightning powers. And the lady says he doesn't share anything with you. The DNA results of him sharing any DNA with him were 0%, which means it was the guy that was cheating. It was a girl. It was the guy that she was cheating on with him with. I know words. So he's remembering this. He's now feeling the impact of this. When the chips are down, his unit is losing. They're dying. They're being killed off because everyone's split up in these units, apparently. Because, you know, the ship was not blowing up, but being overrun when they finally got to Mars. It was a huge ambush, and so they got on the escape pods. And his escape pod, like, was kind of dope. I'll get into the escape pods a little bit later, but they could hold a lot of people. So the people he was with were getting murked, getting killed, and murdered. But he was still fighting. Missing arm. I mean, this dude took like 15 rocks to the back, like losing like a whole bunch of blood. It was crazy. And he's remembering this, and he's saying, why am I remembering this now? Why am I feeling this? What are these feelings I'm feeling? It couldn't process at that time, and now he's finally being able to process his anger, his rage, his sadness, his sorrow, the pain that this afflicted on him without him even knowing it. And he uses that to fight the damn cockroaches. And it was crazy. He was getting up again and again and again. No matter how many times they knocked his ass out, no matter how many times what they did, he just kept on coming. Kept on eating his ass. And he kept on killing him. It didn't matter. It was like crazy. I was rooting for this man. And he died. I was sad. This death actually made me sad. It was so sad. It really was. And I guess to keep their powers a secret, or so they can't be experimented on, or their powers can be duplicated by the cockroach. There's a bomb in them that blows up. And when he couldn't fight no more, he just kept hearing the doot, 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 and boom, this big old light. And the cheating wife got what she deserved. She didn't die, but I guess he gets a check, and the check goes to her. Well, she didn't get the check, and she called up, and they're like, oh, there's no one by that name. Have a nice day. Click. Or no, they didn't even say have a nice day. They said there's no one by that name. Click. Like, hello? You know, so it was pretty cool. You know, I thought that's what she gets. No check for you, you know? And another character that was remotely memorable was the main character, I guess, even though he didn't get a lot of screen time, I feel like, for him being the main character. You know, he shouldn't even be alive because in the first episode, he got eaten by a bear. His legs, his wiener schnitzel was gone, eaten by a black bear. And also, they showed him having his legs again, no problem. And he, first episode, it got my attention because I was like, what the heck is going on? He's trying to fight this bear, you know, because he didn't even know he was going to fight a bear. He had to fight, he's on an underground match, and if he won the match, they promised him that they would pay for the operation for his sister. And that's why he's fighting. And he thought he was going to fight a person, and boom, out comes a black bear, starving, carnivorous. And normally they're omnivores, meaning they eat plants and meat. But all they did was drive this bear crazy and fed him human flesh. And that bear grew a taste for it. And he wanted it. And he got it. He was eating him alive. All of a sudden, the guy got angry. His eyes turned red. These claws appeared. And he just ripped through the bear. And my thought was, that was dope. That was crazy. Where was that at? And what the hell? And where's your legs back? Like, why your legs are back? It makes no sense. You know? There was no damage. Torso, there was nothing. And you could hear them chomping. The bear eating. You know? So that made no sense. But he didn't need the serum to use his powers. But then all suddenly, when he gets to Mars, he needs the serum for his powers. I don't understand. I didn't get that. So that's really all I have. There's nothing else that's worth mentioning, really, besides the boxer. And his thing was just a typical thing, you know. But it was just, I was expecting to see different animal traits that weren't insects, especially when they said that we don't need to rely on just insects anymore. And that's what they pretty much did. Spiders, wasp, you know, bees, different species, a moth, you know. I seemed like only they were the ones that had a chance fighting these things. And some of them had ridiculously low power. Especially the moth guy, he's like string, and it's pretty damn cool how he uses the string, but you don't get to see it as much. So if I honestly have to say, guys, how I feel about this, if there's more episodes, let me guys know. But right now I have to only give it a 5, and the only reason why it's a 5 is because of Adolf. This man literally carried the score on his back with a 5. You know, and the 1 point Adolf gets a 4. Honestly, like if I rated Adolf as a character alone, how much badass I think Adolf is, he's like a 10. Or no, he's not a 10. That's too high. He's literally a 7 or an 8. You know, but one death, one character cannot carry the whole thing on his back, guys. You know, I just say he kind of carried the score on his back with that. It was 5, and the other extra point came from when they were in the ship already, because they mentioned, you know, sometimes cockroaches come out of nowhere and you don't know where they came from, and then boom, door, and there they were. I'm like, oh shit, that's the only thing. I mean, it was like, oh damn, you know. It was just ugh. And then the learning experience, I guess, learning about the different insects that they were using and what their abilities were, that was pretty cool. I enjoyed it because as a kid, I grew up watching Animal Planet. You know, guys, but I have to give it a 5 or a 6. And that 6 is a low 6. If you guys feel what I'm feeling, guys, let me know. I hope you guys have a fantastic day. This is the end of the video. I feel really disappointed in this terraformer. The only thing that made it funny watching is because I'm in my mom's room right now while I was watching it, and she just hate cockroaches. She's like, I heard it. I don't want to watch that. I watched it when she was sleeping. She ended up having a dream about it. It was funny. But, yeah, guys, it's sorry. It's a 5 or a 6 for me, guys. It's just, ugh. It was just, I'm sorry. It was just, I think it's better than the 007 Ghost. Absolutely. But, yeah, guys, I'm sorry. But if this is your favorite anime, I'm sorry. I didn't find it scary. I didn't find it very suspenseful. It was all over the place for me, and the only time it was organized for me was when they were telling Adolf's story as he was fighting. It was just, I'm sorry, but that's all I got for you guys right now until I do Carbonari Iron Train, Carbonari Iron Train, something like that. I enjoyed that a lot better. I got a whole thing for that. It'll be longer than this video, I bet. Anyway, guys, I'll catch you guys later on the flip side. This has been the Review King of Games 80, doing a review at King's Nation on the review building, playing Oni Girl. Well, not really playing Oni Girl, but standing there and looking into her eyes. But yeah, guys, we might do an Oni Girl 3 after I do the review for the Iron Train Blood Carbonari. Alright, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did and you stayed for this long, please hit the like button. Tell me what I comments. If you think I did anything wrong, tell me how I can make the reviews more interesting. Should I start playing and doing my review? Or do you like it like this? Not like that. Why she just stares into your soul. Also, I think these are too echoey. Anyway, guys, like I said again, later flip side. I hope you had a fantastic. Until next time, guys.